Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to Ganesh from 3DImagesAI.
3D models is just a digital file of your product from all angles.
It definitely increases your conversion.
On pretty much every product, it's boosting conversion. The AI will just hallucinate. It won't look realistic. We use AI for scale and 3D for accuracy.
How long does it take for a particular product?
It doesn't actually add much time. It's quite straightforward to do. In the next 5 years, it's going to be crucial for every brand to have a 3D model.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking to Ganesh from 3DImagesAI. Ganesh, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because this is different and easy. What exactly is a 3D model?
So what is a 3D model? 3D models have been around on Amazon for about 3 years now, and essentially what it is in a nutshell is just a digital file of your product from all angles. So it's like you can zoom in and you can spin it around, and it's exactly what your customer receives when they get it in the post. And it's just a digital file that you can upload it to your Amazon listing and Shopify and so forth.
What kind of lift can people expect on their listing when they use one of these images?
So yeah, it really depends on the category. So we've been fortunate enough to work across like a wide range of categories, and there's some categories which have super high ROI. So things like footwear, sunglasses, fashion accessories, got like suitcases. So with some suitcases they have like a size limit on certain airlines and so forth. So when you have a 3D model in the listing, people can view it in their room and they can check the sizing in comparison to their wall or on the floor or so forth. So those categories tend to have a lot higher conversions. Stuff like supplements, stuff like cosmetics, pet food, even there's loads of 3D models on their listing, but you can expect conversion to be a lot less because it's just functionally it doesn't, customers don't need to use it as much as like something like sunglasses or bags and so forth. So yeah, that's typically the range in the categories.
Right. So I mean, it definitely increases your conversion. I mean, I can't imagine it decreases. So this is exciting, and I like the interface you guys built. You just showed it to me before. So you prepared a little presentation to walk us through the process. So I'm curious to see that.
Yeah. I will share that now. So if I share my screen. So this is just a visualization, just in case you don't know what a 3D model looks like. So obviously it's a 3D interactive asset, which is created by 3D artists of your product. So it adds, when you upload it onto Amazon, this button appears right here. And yeah, it's just something for customers to interact with and spin around. And it adds a lot of dwell time to their listing, which obviously is one of the most proven factors to boosting conversions. So yeah, what we've been finding is, and what we've been jumping on every podcast and webinar talking about is, 3D models are essentially coming to every listing because, on pretty much every product, it's boosting conversions. And, for some products, it doesn't make sense, like a shampoo bottle or we've got a toilet roll here as well. But, when you find that people are clicking on the 3D model and playing around with it, they can add 30 seconds onto a listing, right? And, some of these listings are getting, hundreds of thousands of clicks a day. And if 1% of those people add another 30%, another 30 seconds added to your listing, the dwell time is insane. And that's why they're boosting conversions for a lot of products. So that's really what we've been finding. And the reason why, so Amazon at the moment, less than 1% of products have a 3D model. And this has been around for 2 years on Amazon already. And this is purely because getting a 3D model has been extremely difficult. So, what we experienced was we were going on places like Fiverr, places like Upwork. And a lot of these 3D artists, they came from a gaming background. But when they create something for Amazon, for e-commerce, the quality is just always a mismatch. So they have loads of inaccuracies in the model, and Amazon are extremely, extremely strict and nitpicky. And it is a massive pain. So when we created 3D models at the beginning, it took us 4 weeks to upload one. And the issue is they're just extremely nitpicky. So over time, we've had to build tools and validations and QA processes to make sure that we can turn around 3D models in like 48 hours. So this is just an example of one of the 3D model tools that we give to our 3D artists that just helps build these 3D models. So yeah, so what some case studies that we've actually produced is, we've uploaded 3D models to an art kit here. We've got supplements, and we've done a massage roller. And yeah, for this art kit, we went from 2 to 4% conversions. This one increased sales by 15%. And for the massage roller, we took it from 3 to 7% conversions. So it's just having a massive effect on a wide range of products. Now, the real interesting thing about 3D is it is the most versatile asset that you can get for your product. And in the next 5 years, it's going to be crucial for every brand to have a 3D model because it's going to fit into every single workflow. And the best way to explain it is once you have a 3D model, you can get product images from all angles. So you can get front, left, top, back, side, 30-degree angles, so forth. So you can get that instantly. Once you have a 3D model, you can upload it to a 3D viewer. You can upload it to, you can upload that to Amazon listing. You can also get 3D animations, and you can also use it in AI lifestyle images. So right now, in terms of where creativity is going, is everyone is using AI image and video tools, right? And it's quite kind of just industry, not industry standard at the moment, but it's where all the hype is, right? So with these images, with these tools specifically, how people are using them is they're uploading an image of their product from one angle to an AI. But to an AI, you've only given it context from one angle, right? It doesn't know what your product looks like from the back or from the sides or from the top and so forth. Why 3D models are exciting is because in the next 5 years, these AI tools are evolving to take more context as an input. And what asset has the most context? A 3D model, right? Because it's true to size. It has, it knows what it looks like from all angles. It doesn't hallucinate. So that's really why we've started building, and this is what we've been releasing. This is what we're going to be releasing in the next 2 months or so. So essentially, if you want to create images now, what we are finding is you can generate an image. Let's say so this one says kitchen, but let's say it's like a bathroom, for example. And then once you have your 3D model created, you can drag and drop and twist and turn the 3D model into the image so it looks as natural as possible. And then once you've adjusted it into that image, you can now upscale the image without changing any of the product itself, and it will just add that realism, add that shadow, and add the lighting. So then it makes the product look extremely realistic. So what people were doing before is what they would do is they upload a picture of their product from one angle. They'll say, put this in a kitchen for me. But then the AI will just hallucinate. It will do wrong sizing. It won't look realistic. Like it will, the bowl shape might be different, for example. So this is what we're finding is we use AI for scale and 3D for accuracy. And when you combine the power of both worlds, the accuracy is just insane for images. So, and it doesn't stop for lifestyle images. I mean, we've got, even if you had sunglasses and you're like, all right, I really like this image of someone wearing these sunglasses, but I want them wearing my product. So you can drag and drop the 3D model onto their face, and then it will just fit it in without hallucinating. So there's so many use cases for it. And another big problem for sellers as well is that they pay hundreds for renders, right? Like 3D renders just to get images of their product from all sides. So one really important thing that's going to happen in the next 3 years is that you just create one 3D model, but then as soon as you've done that, you have unlimited angles of your product. So you can use it on whatever you want. If you use Photoshop already, you can crop it out and you can use it in whatever design tools you already have. So it is the most versatile asset that's going to be available in the next 3 years. So that's essentially what we're building. And this is going to be live within the next couple months. And we're probably going to get some beta testers as well. So yeah, that's essentially what it is in a nutshell. I think I'll stop talking now.
No, so it's very impressive, and you explained that really clear, because you're right about the AI. It starts hallucinating and it never gets it quite right, but this way you get the image, your product, which is all that matters, 1,000,000% right, and then let the AI, work on everything else, and it'll be the perfect combination. One question I wanted to ask, actually two questions, is we're not sending the product to you, right? We're just sending you a bunch of angles of the image of the product. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're not sending the products to us. It would just be a couple images of the product from all angles, obviously. And these can be taken on an iPhone, so it doesn't have to be extremely clear. And yeah, some label files if it has a label or logo, and just dimensions, because the 3D model has to be true to size. So we've experienced a lot of problems with Amazon when they're like, oh, okay, your bottle is like 3 millimeters off, and they'll just reject it. So it
Right.
literally has to be true to the dimension, otherwise it doesn't get approved by them. And it helps because, you know, if you want to create these, if you want to use these image tools or video tools, the AI needs to know exactly the full context. It can't hold your product in real life, right? So what it can do is it can hold your 3D model digitally. So it has to be true to size. And yeah, that's essentially what we need.
Right. Okay. I think it's going to do well. I think a lot of people in this audience are going to like it, and you've explained yourself. One final question: how long does it take from when, assuming I have what you need, which is the images of all angles of the product, how long does it take for a particular product from when I go to your website until when I get the final version? A week, a month? How long does that take?
Yeah, so we have a pricing system where it basically guesses the complexity. So obviously 3D models depend on complexity. Something like well, I've got my glass of water here. Something like a glass would be really, really quick. It would be like under 48 hours because it's just quite a simple shape. And then something, if I grab something in my room, like a camera stand, well, it's not coming up on the green screen, but something like a camera stand, hair dryer, like bags, for example, they're complex fabrics. They have a lot of complexity, so they can take up to like 5-6 days to complete. So yeah, that's it. It really varies. So what we have is we've been doing so many of these projects that we're now able to guess the complexity. So, you know, usually you'd have to go onto Fiverr or Upwork and, you know, you'd have to go and ask them, oh, give me a quote on this. And, you know, but you can literally just type in, I have a handbag that's made out of crocodile skin, for example, and it will guess the complexity of that and give you like a straight price. So, yeah.
I love it, and I mean, and if somebody has 50 items, you want to do this whole catalog, you can handle that. Then does that increase the time for the delivery, or?
Yeah, so obviously, if you have, let's say, so yeah, if I use my cup again as an example, so if I have the same cup but different color, obviously it's the same shape. So yeah, we have separate pricing. We even have separate pricing for that. So, you know, every color, for example, would be like $50, something like that. And yeah, so it doesn't actually add much time if it's like if it's the same shape, different color, probably add like an extra, if depending on how many colors there are, probably add an extra day. Yeah, we do the same thing with sizing. So if you have like the cup but different sizes, then yeah, it's quite straightforward to do, but it doesn't add too much time into the
Okay,
project.
so yeah, so this is very exciting, and thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna put the link below. Thank you so much, and best of luck. Bye.
Cheers, thank you, Ed.